Hi guys, a very good morning. Welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning we need to take a look on important matters in the nation of Zimbabwe. There are mixed feelings and reactions from party supporters of Triple C. Other people are actually saying Nelson Chamisa is missing in action, while others are saying what Nelson Chamisa is doing is the right thing to do. He must not play along uh, ZANU-PF rules and regulations in terms of how to conduct himself politically. So we need to take a look onto what Advocate Brighton Mutebuka said. Then we see if Nelson Chamisa is failing or is lacking, because it's very important for us to critically review and see if Nelson Chamisa is failing or not. So Brighton Tebuka raised a lot of points, and he clearly indicated that there is need for us to draw a line in the sand and not rely on the strategy that is not yielding any dividend or playing to the strength of the opponent. This is point number one. He went on to say that any further approaches to a captured judiciary by Triple C will either cause offense or bleed support or credibility. That door should be firmly shut for now. This is what he said on point number two. Point number three, he said Shavango's fate should have already been sealed via politically mobilizing the victims of his shenanigans within the parameters of the constitution to challenge him. This is what he clearly says. Let me deal with these first 3 points. Then we go to the next points as our razor. So point number one, he is talking about drawing the line in the sand. The opposition led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa already did so. They have a clear position, which is not being manipulated by ZANU-PF. ZANU-PF then came with their own position and manipulated everything. The reason why Nelson Chamisa participated in this by-election, we were all opposed to this participation. We talked, we celebrated about the opposition not participating in this politics. But remember that Nelson Chamisa does have a lot to deal with. Remember, he does have a team of people around him which are selling out information to ZANU-PF, which are working together with ZANU-PF. If you take a look on Chavangu, he is clearly working with some elements within Triple C and is an intermediary between them and ZANU-PF. He's a ZANU-PF agent, but working with people within. So what it means is, if Nelson Chamisa is to take a position right now, you will need to consult. You will need to give assignments to some people. You need to. He doesn't do everything on his own. He needs a team to work with. What it means is, if he doesn't know who is working with him and who is not working with him, if he does not weed out the majority, I know that you will not weed out everyone, but you need to weed out the majority of the insiders, of the people around you. Those are the most dangerous people. So he can't make a simple decision right now. He needs to buy time so that he deals with internal issues. He deals with those around him, find ways to actually silence them or find ways to make them irrelevant to ZANU-PF. He's already doing that. So there is no need for Nelson Chamisa to rush. That is the reason why he said, okay, we are participating in these by-elections. We are going to court because he still needs some important information about some comrades within. Remember, the people who are working with Shavangu, they are all quiet and they're all pretending to be working with Nelson Chamisa. So it's difficult for Nelson Chamisa to just come out and say, we are taking this direction against ZANU-PF when you still have some thorns within. That is point number one. Point number two, I think I have talked about it, and to add more on the issue of the judiciary. Nelson Chamisa need more evidence against the regime, against the judiciary, against the state capture. More evidence is needed. All these court cases which are being ruled against Nelson Chamisa and in favor of Shavangu, the clear testimony that we are dealing with a monster. We are dealing with an animal. The story to other partners, you have a credible story. That is the reason why yesterday we talked about the power makers in Zimbabwe reaching a decision to say this is no longer dangerous consequences, not for ZANU-PF, but for the whole nation. Zimbabwe can plunge into civil war. Zimbabwe can plunge into chaos. And stop and understand, what if the opposition finally bursts? What will happen? Are we going to be able to control them? What about the disgruntled elements within security structures? Are they going to continue to be? For those who are understand how what Nelson Chamisa is doing, mobilizing the victims of his shenanigans. What is going to happen is we were going to say, let us people go into the streets and demonstrate against Shavangu. But for you to do so, there is what is called MOPA. MOPA will need the police to give you clearance to do a demonstration. The same people who have captured the judiciary are the same people who have captured the police, are the same people who control both the judiciary and the police, which means you go and say to the police, we need to do the demonstrations. The police will say no. If you go ahead, we'll come arrest you, we'll pour tear gas on you, we'll spray you with water. Then you say, okay, let us go to the courts, and the courts will say, the police has spoken, you have no right to protest. Which means what is being proposed by right now, it's not an issue of having analysis after analysis after analysis. It's a matter of being strategically positioned. That is the reason why sometimes we have to limit the times we come out publicly, having discussions, having analysis. Then we go onto the ground to see what needs to be done. How best can we deal with the situation we are in? That is the reality. So sometimes it's not about an issue of coming out publicly to say Nelson Chamisa is wrong, Nelson Chamisa is weak, Nelson Chamisa has failed. That is not the right time to throw accusations on each other, especially for those in the opposition. This is the right time to think. Write what you think directly to Nelson Chamisa. Make him understand you. If you are writing something which is sensible, then I believe that it will be put into consideration. It's the right time for you to start to strategize. But the problem within the opposition is that the majority of the people who call themselves influential and strategists, they're outside Zimbabwe, some in America, some in UK. Those are the majority. They are in comfort zones. So what is happening in South Africa, in America, and what is happening in UK will be different to what is happening on the ground here in Zimbabwe. So when they blame the opposition for not doing enough, they give time frames. They come with time frames and they place time frames. We are still in 2023. Elections were done on 23 August. We are a few months away from the elections. We still have time because we are not rushing anyway. What we need to do right now is to sit down, to understand what needs to be done, to strategize. But it's very important for you, if you know that you are come from a point of weakness, it's very important for you to let your enemy exhaust everything. When they've exhausted the majority of their missiles and you still have your missiles, then you have an advantage to come back and fight back. So for those who are not understanding the strategy here, you have to understand that Nelson Chamisa is not throwing his missiles. He still have everything intact. He still have his missiles intact. Remember, if Nelson Chamisa is to put people into the streets and he fails to do that, that will be his end. That will be his end. He won't be able to do it again. It's not a matter of doing it twice. It's a matter of doing it once. If Nelson Chamisa puts people into the streets today and they are shot at and everybody flees, you will be left with no any other option than to flee Zimbabwe himself. What will happen if Nelson Chamisa forces people onto the streets? There is a great possibility that he will be charged with treason, which means Nelson Chamisa needs to carefully think and plan before he does anything. So, honestly speaking, for those who think politically, who sees politically, who actually understands the political dynamics and what is in the spiritual realm, they'll understand that there is no need for Nelson Chamisa to rush. There is need for Nelson Chamisa to walk step by step. Remember, you are dealing with somebody who doesn't care. Somebody who is saying it's either war or we stay forever. And when you are dealing with somebody who is saying so, you have to strategically position yourself. You have to know who to deal with. Somebody will come with an offer and say, okay, let's do A, B, C, D. You can't just say, yes, 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 let's do it. You have to understand who is sending this person. Who is this person? What are his intentions? What is his history? Those are very important issues and aspects to actually look at. But it's easy to blame those on the ground when you're not on the ground. When you're not on the ground and you are told, we are facing A, B, C, D as our challenges, it's easy for you to say you are doing nothing. But when you arrive at the place, when you become present at the place, that's when you start to understand that it's not Nelson Chamisa's weakness. It's not Nelson Chamisa, it's not that Nelson Chamisa does not care about the people or is weak. It's about working on the best strategy. There is need for Nelson Chamisa to buy time. There is need for Nelson Chamisa to make ZANU-PF exhaust all of its options. Because one way or the other, the agenda of ZANU-PF is to have two-thirds majority in parliament, either by hook or crook. Which means there is no way Nelson Chamisa will stop ZANU-PF to have two-thirds majority. So sometimes he needs to play along. But playing along does not mean you are weak. Playing along is not a sign of weakness. It's a strategic point. So whatever Nelson Chamisa is planning, I do not know. Whatever Nelson Chamisa is working on, I do not know, and I do not care. But I'm here to tell you that we cannot just randomly do things. We cannot just wake up, Nasi Topins on the street. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. You know, Mnangagwa was very, very, very close to Robert Mugabe. He knew every corner of Robert Mugabe's system. But it took him years to actually deal with Robert Mugabe. But he was one of the people who probed up Robert Mugabe, one of the people who created up systems. It took him years. He had to create some shadow groups which were running protests. But You expect Nelson Chamisa to do it in months, to randomly do it in months. We went to the elections. They stole the election clearly. Everybody knows that this election was stolen. And everybody knows that these people are not willing to go. They say, Tinoenda Tafa. The question is this the right time for Nelson Chamisa to strike? Personally, I feel that this is not the right time for Nelson Chamisa to strike. I feel that he still needs time to work on whatever he's working on, together with anybody who is willing to work with him. They have to strategize. They have to put everything in place and make sure that they defend themselves. Before the elections, I said it and said, what is happening to Sevia Kasukwere will happen to Triple C. I said it. And it's happening. So what needs to be done right now is for those in the opposition to unite. Let us reason together, think together, work together, do everything together. That is the only way we will survive. That is the only way we will actually win this battle. So for those who are saying Nelson Chamisa should do A, B, C, D, while you are abroad, while you are somewhere, personally, I feel Kuti, you are putting more burden on Nelson Chamisa, because you have to deal with those within, then deal with those without. That is what ZANU-PF has created for him. So personally, I don't expect to see Nelson Chamisa just waking up and saying we are doing A, B, C, D, because vanhu vari kushanda navo vari kuudza ndo vanhu vamwe chete vanenge vachiendesa information kunze, ndo vanhu vamwe chete vanenge vachishanda kusabotaja. So I don't know, guys, what other people think or how you take it. Hanzi Neliwin, true my bro, let him wait and fight the power. My Nubian kings and queens, free Mandela, those who are not working always have advice for those who are working. Empty vessels make a lot of noise. This is Mauricio. So I find it difficult for the comrades who are in the diaspora the ones who always blame Advocate Nelson Chamisa. If they are genuinely in for change, why is it that they are not willing to relocate to Zimbabwe? Why are they not willing to fly back to Zimbabwe to say, Nelson Chamisa, we are back to Zimbabwe. Can we work on something? Even Kanavai, we are in Zambia, we are in South Africa, we have left UK, we have left America, we are in SADC, within SADC. Go to Zambia and say we are in Zambia. Can we work something out? I would give such people much respect than to come on Twitter and write something. Nelson Chamisa should do A, B, C, D, should do that, this and that. And you are in the comfort of America, in the comfort of UK. I do not hate you, comrades, but I'm simply telling you the truth to say, why is it difficult for you to come back home? 1, to vote. 2, to be on the ground and face the regime. Why is it difficult? Why can't you come? Since you have strategies and you have ideas, why can't you come so that we face the regime together? Since Kalisina and Nelson Chamisa should chase that guy, Shabang, forever. And I believe that that is the strategy. And one day, the people of Zimbabwe will start to understand Nelson Chamisa and start to understand what is actually happening. So a lot of things are happening behind the scenes, but the people of Zimbabwe expect to Nelson Chamisa away every day achitaura kuti tazoronga izvi. But ndozvinhu zvatisvitsa patiri right now. What if he does these things silently? I believe that is the way to go, because there's no need for him to tell me, there's no need for him to tell another person. So let him work what he's working on, and let us give him his role as a leader of the opposition. Let us give him his own respect. Ngatiregei kuita soti we are the leaders. No, he is the leader. Let us respect him. Let us respect his stance and his ideas. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the support. Please keep on subscribing, commenting, and sharing.